Alright guys, what is up? I am back today with another push session. This is chest focused push. Getting started with some warm-ups here on my flat bench, my dumbbell bench. Total session time for the day was 55 minutes without ab work. I don't have my ab work in the video today. I'm not really including that because it doesn't change. It's not really anything I track super closely in terms of progression. It's just kind of there. But yeah, 55 minutes without ab work, a little over an hour with it. This felt really good. If you watched my previous video, you saw that yesterday was kind of an off day for me in terms of performance, but today we are back on track. This felt fucking awesome. Took a 10-pound total progression here on my working sets on this movement. You can see here I'm using the 105s. Last week I was on the 100s, so 10 pounds total, 5 pounds per arm or per dumbbell here on my flat bench. Rep goal was 8 to 12, ended up hitting 13 on the first set, 9 reps on the second set, both with 105 there. So we'll be moving the weight up on those first 2 sets next week for sure. Third set did a drop down to 90 pounds, which is the same weight as my third set from last week. Hit 11 reps, which is a 1 rep progression there, or maybe 2 actually, I can't quite recall. So the weight stays the same there next week, but then we'll continue to move up on the first 2 sets. Felt really good today. Felt really just locked in under the dumbbell. Everything moved good. The weight felt pretty light, so the food is doing its job. The food, we slightly increased PEDs going into this week, so like 2 or 3 days ago now. Added 250 mgs more of Masteron, so total PED load now is 500 mgs of test, 750 mgs of Mast. That is per week, and then obviously growth hormone and everything has all stayed the same so far. But yeah, this is feeling really good. Honestly, looking back at this footage too, I could probably even go a little higher. I could probably bump this up to like 115s next week, but dumbbells, I tend to take the smallest progression possible anyway, because even when I'm adding 5 pounds, which is the smallest progression I can take per dumbbell at this point, I'm adding it across 2 dumbbells. So I'm taking 10-pound progressions here week over week. So it is a larger jump. If I ever need to add 5s, you know, I'll probably just do some band work to kind of add in that resistance before moving up 10. It's the best way to kind of progress these. But yeah, this felt really good. Form was good here. Weight moved up. We matched, or in some cases, I think we beat reps. No. We matched the top set, and then I beat the reps on the second set. So yeah, matched or beat plus a weight move. That's awesome. Again, back off set here, 90 pounds for 11 reps. Love doing chest day. I don't think anybody out there hates their push day or their chest day. I'm sure there's someone, I guess, but few and far between probably. And especially once you have food backing you. You know, this day kind of blows when you're in a deficit and this performance starts to drop off here, since it drops off here first, more so than any other day. But once it's back and once we are in the full swing of things into an off season, it always feels great to hit this session. So moving into my hammer strength incline here, just doing a warm up with 1 plate on the bar right now. This felt awesome too. Took another progression here. Ended up, I think, matching my reps from last week on the movement overall, but took a 5-pound weight increase total, 2.5 per side. So moved up from 200 to 205. I did 205 on all 3 sets here. And then hit 12, 8, and 7 reps. Again, the goal here is 8 to 12, so that last set, it's just outside of the range, but I'm not going to drop the weight just so I can get the 1 extra rep there when I could keep the straight set and just get 7 and be fine with that. Going to take a weight progression here next week as well, probably just go up 5 pounds again. This is a pretty heavy movement, especially with my chest being pretty fatigued from the dumbbells. This is probably not something I'll be taking much larger than 5-pound increases in weight on. But yeah, the form also improved a little bit here this week. I was able to kind of lock my shoulders back a little bit better. It just felt a little better for me. Yeah, not a whole lot more to say about this movement, so I'll just let this play out and we will move on to my pec deck next. moving into the pec deck. This was a weight increase this week, and on my top set I blew my reps out of the water. Well, technically I matched from last week, but I'm way on the high end of the range here. You can see form has just vastly improved here. That chest is up. I'm feeling a great stretch here. Ended up going 5 pounds up, so from 105 to 110 here, and hit 19 reps, which is a rep match from last week. So again, that's like 4 above the range I'm supposed to be working in here, just 10 to 15. So I will probably take a 10-pound progression here next week, at least on this top set. And then I think I'll keep the back off set, or the second set rather, the same weight as I'm doing this week. So this week, for reference, did 110 on both sets here, top set and second set, hit 19 and then 12 reps. Next week, I'll probably do 120 on that top set and then stay with 110 on the second set and just try to beat the reps there. And then end up doing these in the future, kind of staggering them so that as I move forward and progress through this growth phase, I have one top set and one back off set on this movement. Something you might also notice today, you may have picked up on it on my incline hammer strength machine, but I'm doing it here as well, is really trying to start implementing more of those partials at the end, you know, at the very least, just sitting in the stretch for a second or just cranking out a couple little tiny partials at the end of the movement to really drive some extra fatigue into the muscle. And that feels great, you know, with now being just about 2 weeks into the growth phase here, or I should say in the third week, you know, just past 2 weeks in. Food is up to a point, PEDs are up to a point where I can take those partials and not feel as risky about it because we're not in a deficit anymore. The body feels good. It's easier for me to recover. I don't have all of this extra fatigue or, you know, chance to accumulate injuries as easily. And with chest, that's, you know, something you want to be especially mindful of. Pec injuries are brutal and very, very common, obviously, with specific movements that are a little more risky. You know, there's the reason a lot of guys avoid like a flat barbell bench, right? But still, on any chest movement, you don't really want to strain yourself too hard, especially in a deficit. But in general, you know your limits, understand what movements have safety profiles that lend themselves towards doing partials. You know, like on my incline hammer strength, I did some partials. On my isolation, you know, my pec deck, I did some partials, but you don't really see me edging out many partials on like my flat dumbbell bench, right? The safety profile just isn't the same, and it's not as safe to be taking partials and really going past failure there. But yeah, on my shoulder work here for the day, starting on the machine lateral here, took a progression here this week, just in reps, kept the weight the same. It's 100 pounds across all 3 sets. The goal is 10 to 15 reps, and I hit 17, 13, and 11. So definitely going to increase that top set next week. Probably going to go up maybe just 5 pounds here. I do find that sometimes I get in the habit of loading my side laterals too quickly or too heavily too quickly. So I'll do these 10-pound increases, and then I end up really sacrificing the reps, which is honestly, for a small muscle like this, something you want to focus on is being in that higher end of that rep range. So probably just go up 5 pounds next week. On that top set at least, might also go up on the second and third set because they did feel good, but I didn't hit the high end of the rep range on them, so we'll see. Again, first set, top set will at least go up 5 pounds. The others might as well. But yeah, this felt good today too. You can see here, I'm still going pretty high up, but I'm not going like wildly high up on my shoulders. I'm trying to just kind of keep the tension. Whereas before I was almost breaking parallel and coming up above the shoulder, which doesn't cause me any pain and it works fine for me, but isn't really adding anything to the movement for me. So I'm just kind of trying to get some more quality rep work in the range that actually matters. Now, moving into my tricep extension. This is the bilateral extension with cable. Focused on keeping the chest up here today, really driving out to the sides, you know, the same stuff as always. Started with 90 pounds here, hit 19 reps, which is 1 rep more than last week. Dropped down to 70 and hit 16 reps, which is 1 more than last week. But then I hit 10 with 70 on the third set, and that wasn't as great. I think I took 12 there last week. So I ended up dropping the weight down from my fourth set even further to 50 pounds and took 12 there. And that actually felt really good. You know, something that I have a hard time wrapping my head around with this movement still is feeling like I need to move the weight up. when the reality is I can use very little load and get a great stimulus to the triceps here. So I think next week, honestly, I might do 90, 70, 50, 50 as far as my weight progression goes. This is one of those movements where, triceps for me fatigue very quickly, especially when we're working in this high rep range, and the high rep range is the goal. So I think I might even need to get to a point where I'm doing like 90, 70, probably not 50, 30, but like let's actually say 90, 80, 60, 50 or whatever, right? Where I'm taking a drop on every single set. Trying to limit that, trying to work in a straight set across as much as possible, but this movement just really requires me to drop and to focus on just some high volume work here. That's the whole purpose of this anyway. And the same can be said for the next movement, which is my single arm overhead tricep extension. Really just getting some volume work, getting the pump into the triceps, just hammering away in that high repetition range on them. We do still get a lot of heavy tricep work, obviously, in my primary chest movements. That flat dumbbell bench engages a lot. That incline hammer strength engages a lot, especially as you get towards the lengthened portion of that range of that movement. So there's a lot of recruitment there. This is a push day. It's not just like I'm doing an arm day and I just have dedicated tricep work in. If that was the case, we'd see this structured a little differently. We'd have some lower rep range, higher weight tricep work, like maybe a cable overhead tricep with like a bar attachment rather than a rope. Maybe even some extensions on a machine. Not my favorite. I don't really like those that much, but they do serve a purpose. Same thing can be said for my biceps and how I structure that too. You see me do my bicep work on my pull day, and that's pretty much just high rep range metabolite work at this point. That's not really anything where I'm trying to massively increase the weights or blow the rep range out of the water. We're just trying to get a lot of extra volume in there because they're already fatigued at the end of the day. So moving into the final exercise of the day, my single arm overhead tricep extension. Rep range goal is 12 to 20, same as it was on the bilateral extension you just saw. No weight increase. This has basically been the same since I started the push phase and even before. 30 pounds here, just doing it one arm at a time. Hit 15 reps on the first set and then ended up hitting 16 reps on the second set. For whatever reason, I always outperform my first set on my second set here. I think it's just getting used to the positioning or something. But yeah, that was a 1 rep progression on both sets. I think I hit 14 and then 15 last week, so it took 15 and 16 this week with some little partials at the end there. So this felt really solid. No complaints here. Honestly, really good day. It felt good to come into my chest day and have a great session after coming off of my leg session, which was just a little, again, I slept like shit the night before, so it was a little just, it didn't feel great. Wasn't able to take a lot of progressions there on that day. I still did take some, but not as much as I would have liked. And, again, when you feel off, it just kind of, puts a hamper on the session a little bit. But today felt great. So super, super happy to continue this momentum through the rest of the week and through the rest of the growth phase. Checking in this morning at about 207 and a half or so. My weekly average weight, I think, is somewhere around like 205. So we're up like 5-6 pounds since the start of the growth phase, 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. So that is awesome to see. Weight is moving up at a great rate. Still holding conditioning very well. I might start doing like a check-in video to kind of, do a physique update every week or every couple weeks, here shortly. But for now, everything's going good. So happy to continue the bulk, happy to continue things for the next 20 to 24 weeks. We got a long runway ahead and everything is going super great so far. So yeah, I'm just going to let the rest of this play out, guys. If you like the content, make sure to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. And until next time, guys, take it easy.